New York. Please welcome from our television sponsor, WCBS TV, Dana Tyler and Chris Raggi.
Holy cow, we didn't know this thing started already.
Good morning, good morning. What a beautiful sight you are. What a difference in the weather from last year. The sunshine is lovely, isn't it?
Who's ready to walk today? Who's ready to raise some serious money today?
Chris and I are so happy to be here again. This AIDS Walk New York represents a great combination of important traditions mixed with the exciting, fresh, and new.
And how about 29 years strong, huh? How about 29 years? Today you get to tangibly demonstrate that we are all in this together and we are here for one another. And we are New York and we are New York strong. How about it?
There's an exciting new category this year. You'll be hearing from GMHC's brand new Chief Executive Officer and New York City's brand new Mayor, Bill de Blasio, this morning.
And how about a nice round of applause for some of the stars, the luminaries up on this stage right now. Put your hands up, everybody. Put your hands up. And they stay there. And they stay there. I figured y'all needed a little DJ Khaled to start things off this morning.
All righty, please welcome a pair of very hot stars from a couple of very hot new TV shows.
You got that right. The awfully mean evil queen on Once Upon a Time. That's right. It's me. Please welcome Nick Weschler and Lana Maria.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
When we talk about the success of AIDS Walk New York, we are talking about a lot of elements, not the least of which is money. Green, cold, hard cash. Most of that is raised by all of you. But we also owe a huge debt of gratitude to our corporate sponsors. First and foremost, New York's drugstore and the presenting sponsor of AIDS Walk New York, Dwayne Reed. If you made a purchase in any of Dwayne Reed's 244 New York metropolitan stores over the last month, you were offered the opportunity to donate to the AIDS Walk at each register.
And you still can. So if you haven't yet had a chance to make a donation on your way home, if you want to buy a pack of gum and add, what, $800 or $900 to that, go for it. The funds raised in-store, plus a gigantic donation from the Dwayne Reed Charitable Foundation, put this year's total from Dwayne Reed at $300,000. Now please welcome the Vice President of Dwayne Reed Charitable Foundation, Fran Cintorino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so proud to be here representing the Dwayne Reed Charitable Foundation on this gorgeous day. And let me give a big shout out to the Dwayne Reed and Walgreens teams out there in the blue shirts. I'm also proud to be able to say that Dwayne Reed was the first presenting sponsor of AIDS Walk New York. And we have been the presenting sponsor every year since. Between our in-store donation campaigns and the Dwayne Reed Charitable Foundation, you kind of just heard some of what we donated, but over the last few years, we've donated over $2 million GMC. It is our goal to continue to work together with GMHC to find new ways to better serve the HIV community in both the GMHC facility and in our HIV Centers of Excellence locations. It is our goal to continue to do so for as long as we are in this fight against HIV and AIDS. We are actually in the midst of the campaign right now, so as you just heard, we are still taking in-store donations. I know a lot of you out there have contributed to this campaign over the last few weeks, and a big thank you for all of your support. So far, the money we've raised in our in-store donations, and again, the money donated by Dwayne Reed Charitable Foundation, I'm very happy to present, I think, a big check somewhere for over $300,000 to GMHC. But wait, this is a big check. I got a big marker. I just got an update, a little tweet and text this morning that because the pin-up, we had to print this check a few days ago, so I got an update that the check is actually wrong. We're up to $330,000. And because there's one more day left today to donate at our Dwayne Reed stores, I'm going to put a big plus next to the number. So again, thank you for your support. Please make sure to tell your friends, as they walk by Dwayne Reed stores today, or maybe tweet their friends. They still have time to go in and make a donation on this final day. Have a great walk, everyone, and thank you, and be well.
Now on to the premier sponsors. Bristol Myers Squibb has been with us for the last 9 years. For each of those years, they have written a check for $100,000. That's enough for GMHC to provide 8,000 free HIV tests. Their cumulative total is now 900,000. Please welcome from our generous friends at BMS, the Executive Director of HIV Marketing, Hillary Muldoon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hillary Muldoon, and I'm so excited to be here representing Team Bristol Myers Squibb. I wanted to recognize GMHC for being at the forefront of HIV and really leading the way in developing and supporting patients with this disease. I'd like to also thank GMHC for allowing me to be on the stage with so many incredible celebrities. I finally know what it feels like to be one of those accountants on the stage at the Academy Awards while you're waiting for Julia Roberts. So why am I here? I'm here because my company, BMS, for over 20 years has supported the fight against HIV, from developing medicines to educating patients to providing access to medications. Also, I'm here because of a girl named Tamika. This girl named Tamika, her mother died in 1986 of this horrible disease, HIV/AIDS. And of course, it was before today's treatments were available. Tamika was in 16 foster homes in over 14 years. When Tamika came into my life, I immediately recognized her resilience and her strength, but I also recognized the pain and struggle that she went through as a result of this disease. My entire family fell in love with her, and we were lucky enough to welcome her officially into the family and adopt her. Today, I'm so proud to call Tamika my youngest sister. I'm proud of her accomplishments. I'm proud that she's here walking with me today. And I'm proud that she'll never forget. She'll never forget this disease and how it's affected her life and the lives of so many others with HIV. There are still more than 1 million people in the US living with HIV. So many of us at Team BMS have our own personal stories, and the rest of us are at BMS because we've been touched by those personal stories. So look out for the blue shirts, more blue shirts today. Look out for the blue shirts because we're here to walk, and we're here to walk for each and every one of those personal stories, for you and for us. Thank you again, everybody.
This year, AIDS Walk New York is a brand new premier sponsor, and this fantastic company decided to come in right at the top. They are the world's largest provider of HIV testing, and they promoted the AIDS Walk at more than 60 service centers throughout the city. From Quest Diagnostics, please welcome Senior Vice President, HR Officer, Jeff Schuman.
Good morning, New York. I am delighted to be here and represent the over 45,000 women and men of Quest Diagnostics, leading provider of diagnostic testing and information services, including HIV and AIDS. We at Quest Diagnostics are extremely proud to be a premier sponsor of the 2014 AIDS Walk here in New York. Through this wonderful group, we support services provided by GMHC, and more than 40 other AIDS service organizations here in the tri-state area. That's a mission that Quest really can get behind. Supporting AIDS and HIV research is also very personal to many of us here at Quest, and I'm a case in point. In 1985, my older brother was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. For those of you like me with a little bit of gray hair, those were dark days for AIDS. There weren't a lot of options, and there was terrible discrimination and fear going on. My brother Steve spent a lot of time in hospitals and clinics being poked with all kinds of needles. He underwent experimental therapies as part of his clinical trials. Because he had access to great care, my brother was one of the lucky ones. Today, in just a couple of weeks, my brother turned 63 years old. Thank you. He's living life. He's married to his partner, David, and he's still able to work. Steve's resilience is a testament not only to his strong will, but also to the support of people like you advancing tests and treatment for HIV and AIDS. You know, in many ways, the unsung hero of healthcare is diagnostic information. Diagnostics and the insights they reveal can detect health problems before they occur. They can identify diseases they point to and which treatment options may work and help patients manage those conditions. In the case of HIV and AIDS, diagnostic testing, such as those provided by Quest Diagnostics, helps to identify infection at the earliest of stages. Diagnostic information identify the viral load and the genotype, information that's crucial to guiding effective therapy. At the same time, medical advances in AIDS and HIV continue to be a deadly disease in this chronic and manageable condition. But we can all do much more. We need to invest in research and develop, including the diagnostics. We need to educate people of their health risks so they don't become another statistics. We've accomplished so much. Our efforts today can and will make a difference. So there's much more we can do to overcome AIDS and HIV once and for all. Let's have a great walk, and thank you so very much.
I flew into town courtesy of Delta Airlines, the official airline of GMHC. Delta has been sponsoring AIDS Walk New York for over a decade. Have you seen their new terminal at JFK? It's incredible. I didn't want to leave. Please join me in welcoming from Delta Airlines Senior Vice President in Flight Services, Joanne Smith.
Thank you, Lana. Thank you for flying Delta. I really appreciate it because I am a huge fan. And thank you all. Wow. You all are a stunning group. I wanted to say congratulations to everybody who has come out here to walk and support this great effort. It's a pleasure to greet you on behalf of 80,000 Delta employees worldwide. We are passionate.
we walk in hope, we walk in faith, we walk in hope that we're going to not have to walk again. And I'm going to make a commitment that we will continue to walk to support AIDS New York and GMHC so as long as we have to. So thank you all. This is our 18th year with the AIDS New York Walk, and this is the first year that we have our own Go team. So I'm really proud. We feel very passionately about supporting the communities that we serve and giving back and doing what we can to improve good health, goodwill, and quality of life. So like I said, we will keep watching. I would like to stay here longer, but we have 150 Delta employees who have showed up today to our own Go team, one of the top 25. Delta's Force for Global Good is walking. Thank you all very much, and thanks for flying Delta.
How many of you have seen The Lion King on Broadway? Yeah, I figured. Please help me welcome the actor currently starring as Mufasa, Alton Fitzgerald White.
Good morning. What an honor it is to be here. Go out and tell our story. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brothers, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you again. Thank you. Thank you.
That was incredible. Let's give another round of applause. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to GMHC for having me here today. I'm so honored to be here, and I'm so excited to walk with all of you. Thank you. Oh, I love you too. Thank you. Our next two hosts co-star on NCIS Los Angeles. And we are thrilled to have them here in the Big Apple. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Daniela Rua and Eric Christian Olsen.
Mufasa, huh? Killing it over there.
A lot of people.
I'm not going to be singing. That's not going to happen. But you were fantastic. I'm going to go see the show now. Thank you. We have the honor of recognizing the AIDS Walk brand and principal sponsors.
Eric, how exactly do you recognize sponsors? It's not like they walk around with signs hanging around their necks saying, I'm a sponsor, recognize me, or walking around with thousands of dollars in their pockets.
That's true, but the job of recognizing is made much easier by the fact that most of them are sitting on stage behind us.
Oh, okay. So hang on. I should be looking for like really rich-looking people.
Rich-looking people, go for it.
Rich-looking people. All right. You all look kind of rich.
Super rich.
You all look. Oh,
super
that
rich.
guy's from CBS, right there. That guy.
Chris.
Yep, Chris Raggy. I want a raise.
Okay, that's actually, Daniela, when we recognize them, I think we're supposed to say something with a little praise, show some love.
Oh, okay. I love you. Can I have a raise?
Nope. Daniela, the goal is for them to continue to give generously to other people. And you can see how accosting them with your own agenda probably isn't the best tactic.
And you're sure about this because Gap Inc. is a grand sponsor. Have you seen their summer line?
Gap people.
I have a big agenda with Gap.
That's true, they do have great clothes. You know what else they have? Huge hearts. When it comes to AIDS Walk New York, not only do they write a check for $50,000, enough for GMHC to provide 2,000 weeks of groceries, they donated 2,000 t-shirts, which are being modeled by all the AIDS Walk volunteer, you know where you are. And last year, their team raised an additional $40,000. I'm not great with math, but I think that's 90 G's. Let's hear it for them. Let's hear it for the Gap.
Yeah! And you know what, speaking of those shirts, we need to give a quick shout out to Carla. Don't touch the microphone when I'm talking.
I'm sorry.
We need to give a quick shout out to Carla Mickens, the award-winning artist who designed the shirt. Carla, where are you? Yeah! Carla Mickens!
You have the next line.
I know. He kept taking my next line. Our other grand sponsorship is from the financial geniuses Bloomberg. There's a no-brainer for you. I mean, if the smart people at Bloomberg put their own money in GMHC, you know it's a good investment. Let's hear it for Bloomberg.
We also want to acknowledge the AIDS Walk principal sponsors in addition to WCDS, whom we've already heard about. Let's give it up for Keith Haring Foundation.
Woo!
Attaboy, Keith.
Next, a sponsor who has been a part of AIDS Walk New York since its very first year, 29 years ago. From the Village Voice, say hello to their publisher, Josh Fromsen.
Josh. A capital cheer for the folks at Barclay Capital and their representative, Anthony Hurd.
The sponsorship from Armani Exchange didn't end with their check, no siree. They also donated every ounce of drinking water we're serving today at the AIDS Walk route, so hydrate yourselves. Armani Exchange, let's thank Kevin DeLagle.
Just to clarify, you did say no siree.
I did say
like 15,000 people.
No siree.
Time Warner Cable also does more than sign a check. Not only do we love their check, but additionally, AIDS Walk New York ads have been running on their channel all month long. From Time Warner Cable, let's thank Karen LaCava.
Woo! Now, sponsorship usually comes from corporate entities, but not always. Sometimes individuals are just as generous. And this year, we are fortunate enough to have a couple to whom we are so very grateful. Husbands Seth Rosen and Jacob K. Gertz.
And finally, our major sponsors, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Chemio Diagnostics Systems Incorporated, Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aura Sure Technologies Inc., PepsiCo, Polo Ralph Lauren Foundation, PwC, the Roosevelt Hotel New York, UBS, Viacom. Let's give them a hand. Yeah! What are you doing?
I'm sorry, were you still talking?
I'm still talking. These people are so... Oh, this is fantastic. Everything's gone astray. What are you doing?
I am... Okay. Don't yell at me, first of all. Facebook update at AIDS Walk New York with 30,000 amazing people and the smoking hot Eric Christian Olsen.
Wow, instant forgiveness. That was actually scripted. You didn't come up with that in yourself.
I would never say that myself.
You should post an Instagram. Actually, you know what? We should all post an Instagram. I have a brilliant idea. Everybody turn around. I'm serious about this. And we're going to take selfies. I hear you, big girl.
Do it. She knows it.
So let's turn around, get the AIDS Walk banner in the background, take a selfie all together. Let's see if we can break the Twitter and give Ellen a run for her money. Tell the world you're at the AIDS Walk New York. I'm dead serious.
Wait,
turn
stop.
around. If you're looking at me, you're failing. Turn around. Pull your phones out.
Are you going to do this?
Take a selfie. I'm going to wave to every one of you. That one. That one. Great. Get your selfie. I think that's it.
Oh, God, my line. Wait,
Hold on, I got you right here.
No, I got it. I know
your
what's
show?
coming next. Thank you.
Everybody got their selfie? We're moving on.
All right. Yes, all my lines. Did we get our selfies? All right. So, Our next guest is a 3-time Emmy nominee for her role as Coach Beast on Glee. Yeah! Please welcome Dot Marie Jones.
I thought she kind of bowed, but she lost her paper. Hey, you guys, what are you doing? That's right. I love you, too. Thank you. Okay. Not gonna pretend I'm not 50 and need glasses. If you've seen that silly little show, Glee, you know that... wow. You know that I am no stranger to high school hallways. Neither is GMHC. They know that the future rests in the hands of these young adults, and that this generation could very well be the generation that will end AIDS. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Did you hear that? I forgot where I was. It's never big enough print. Never. Eddie, how many years I've been doing this? I'm sorry. Focus, shiny. For this year's AIDS Walk, we have provided high school teams with the opportunity to be mentored by corporate teams in fundraising, philanthropy, and leadership. The program is called CHAMP, Community Health Activist Mentoring Program. And we are very proud to announce that this year's AIDS Walk New York, oh wow, this is amazing. We have over 400 schools, teams walking. That is amazing. And here to speak about this innovative program, one of the pioneers for UBS, Mr. Jason Shaw.
Thanks, Coach. Love you. Hi, guys. We at UBS, we are so delighted to serve as the mentors to the team from the Caribbean Students Association and the National Honor Society of Murray-Bergstrom High School. You guys over there? Hi. We couldn't have asked for a better group of young people to take part in this brand new program for the walk and brand new partnership for us. The process of helping this school's dedicated AIDS Walk team realize its fundraising potential included an incentive for them. My company, UBS, matched all of the money they raised. And a special shout out to Team UBS. Team UBS is the largest in AIDS Walk history. We have more than 200 registered people here with us today or walking virtually today. So congratulations, guys. Even better, we also have the privilege of sharing this inspiring day with them. Our two teams will be leading today's walk, literally. Excellent. And figuratively, we are so excited to watch these dedicated young adults lead us all into the future. I really think this is the beginning of something special, and I hope to see the AIDS Walk Champ program grow to the point where all of the sponsors with us today are walking with the school team. It's truly been an honor, and UBS looks forward to participating along with the rest of you next year. Have a great walk, everyone.
I just didn't get myself. Fancy. They love you. She's pretty fabulous, right? Everybody here today is fabulous. Yes. But some of you can lay claim to just a little bit more fabulousness. Frankly, they are overachievers. I am talking about our Star Walkers. Who here is a Star Walker? Let me see you. Awesome. Where's your crown? Star Walkers set a goal to raise a minimum of $1,000. And those people who hit those numbers are awarded with, among other things, a Star Walker crown. All the crowns you see out there. Woo! Ah, fancy. This year, we have more than 450 Star Walkers. That is amazing. Wow. Representing these top fundraisers, we have 5 of them up here on stage. Where are you? Beautiful. Oh my gosh, listen to this. These 5 alone have raised an accumulative total of more than $20,000. Congratulations, Star Walkers. Now the part that makes me nervous. It is such, in all honesty, a tremendous honor and a privilege to introduce the next 2 guests. He is a 4-time Tony-winning playwright. I know. With a resume that includes over 30 plays. Wow. She makes me nervous. She's an idol. She's been for years. 6-time Emmy Award winner and a Tony winner. She also has appeared in 3 of his plays, including Masterclass, Ragtime, and the show for which they are each a Tony nominated this year, Mothers and Sons. It is beyond a privilege and an honor to introduce and welcome Mr. Terrence McNally and Miss Tyne Daly.
Good morning. I'm always startled when I'm asked why I chose to write about AIDS. There was no choice. An artist responds to their world and tries to make sense of it, even the bad things. What else was I going to write about? The weather? It was raining AIDS, and there was no umbrella large enough to shelter us. I am thankful for the men and women who took to the streets and made our voices heard. They made a difference. But I'm also grateful to the artists who tried to make sense of the terror and confusion. We also made a difference. I am bewildered and more than a little angry by the artists who did nothing but fiddle while their Rome, this great city, burned. Why did I choose to write about AIDS? The question is always put in the past tense. I am still writing about AIDS. Each of us here this morning, in our own way, is still writing about AIDS. As individuals, as a city, as a nation, we are no more done with AIDS than AIDS is done with us. Its scars are lasting. The trauma has not gone away. But it is to the future we look today. A world without AIDS for sure, but a world that has not forgotten, and we must be vigilant, it never will. A time when AIDS was a death sentence, and those who were infected with it were treated as the unholy damned. I lost 2 partners to AIDS. Robert Dreyfuss was a handsome, gifted young actor with some of the great classical roles already under his belt. He was also, he thought, safely closeted. AIDS kicked that door in with a fury that took our breath away. But there were only 3 of us to share his final agony. Best friends, and there were many of them, professional colleagues, siblings, his own parents even. They all had no idea what was going on behind those drawn blinds on Bleecker Street or in too many rooms at St. Vincent's. Every time I told someone Bobby had died from AIDS, I felt I was betraying him after death, as surely as if I had outed him to one of the producers he was convinced would never hire him if they knew he were gay. The closet didn't kill Bobby, but the closet kept him from knowing how loved he was. Gary Bonasorte was positive when I met him, but his confidence that he would beat his disease made believers of us all, and no one more than me. We all needed Gary's smile, big heart, and courage in the 80s. Gary was out and proud and militant and had the energy of 50 of the rest of us. He was also an artist. He wrote plays, promising plays, and was one of the founders of Rattlestick Playwrights Theater, which is heading towards its 15th anniversary. That burgeoning theater is as much Gary's legacy as his tireless hours fighting to find a cure to save his world. When Gary died, the world turned out for his memorial at St. Mark's in the Bowery. There was no better reason to come out of the closet than the size of Gary's remembrance that bitter winter morning. I walk for Gary Bonasorte today. I walk for Bobby Drivas. I walk for all the men and women who never had the opportunity of life not cut unreasonably short. So many possibilities denied. So many voices stilled before they could be heard. So many plays about AIDS not written. I weep for them, but I walk in thanks for all that was done to make our lives a safer and better one. I walk in remembrance. I walk in love. If you don't know why we're here this morning, you're the reason I still write about AIDS. Thank you.
Good morning. I get to work for this guy. I get to work for this man, who is a wonderful, amazing man. So I'm going to go to text. I'm going to go to text now because, you know, life is too long. He doesn't warn me about this. He writes it down and then he says it. It knocks me out. Okay, gosh. So we'll do the official stuff and then we'll get to the fun stuff in a few minutes. Oh, excuse me, just a little personal thing. This is such a beautiful morning, and you're all so beautiful looking, and so I'd like to take a little picture. If you could just kind of like, maybe this way. Oh, the hell with it! I'll just remember. Thank you for being here. You're in the right room. In addition to Mayor de Blasio, whom we will have the honor of hearing in a few moments. This is like bifocal. We have sitting on our stage several of the area's finest election officials. Now this is power here. Just if you want to see, this is power. These leaders are here to show their appreciation of you and your fundraising efforts. Please hold your applause until the end of these introductions. We ask that our officials remain standing after your names are called. Just try and follow instructions. We just got the rewrites on this, so Terrence, can you read this? Yes. Okay.
A close friend of GMHC and a leader in the fight for marriage equality, United States Representative Gerald Nadler. Representative Charles Rangel. New York State Senator Bill Perkins. And state assembly members Herman D. Farrell, Walter Mosley, Richard Gottfried.
New York State Senator Bill Perkins, we did that already. See, you mixed me up. Gail Brewer. Sorry, Gail. New York City Controller Scott Stringer. New York City Public Advocate Letitia James. New York City Human Resources Administration Commissioner Stephen Banks. Your turn.
And Director of the AIDS Institute, Office of Planning and Policy, Joanne Morn. Let's have a round of applause for the esteemed.
Our next speaker. Well, now I'm going to take a minute here. Is this? Wait. What do you got? 38. This one. Okay, thank you. Janet Weinberg. As most of you know, the money that you raise today goes to fund the crucial work of GMHC. Please join me in welcoming one of the organization's most beloved and effective leaders, Interim Chief Executive Officer and Chief Operating Officer, Janet Weinberg.
I'm awed by being introduced by Tyne Daly, who I've loved for so many years, and having Terrence McNally right behind that. A heartfelt good morning to all of you. Good morning. The message on my t-shirt today mirrors what I see before me, and that's all of you. At the heart of it all, we keep going strong. That's our t-shirt, that's our motto today. As the heart of AIDS Walk New York, each of you keeps going strong. To walk, volunteer, raise funds, supporting GMHC's care services for 9,000 men, women, and families who are affected by HIV and AIDS. We annually serve close to 90,000 hot and nutritious meals yearly. We help HIV-positive people return to work, and we connect people to counseling, housing, and legal service, and so much more. But you are the folks who keep us going strong. Yeah, you can applaud yourselves. You help support our HIV prevention education programs, which reach tens of thousands of diverse New Yorkers each year, including thousands of free HIV tests. Did you know that you can get tested today in the park? If you don't know your status, please, I urge you, get tested. Get tested today or get tested tomorrow, but please find out, because you can stay healthy, but you need to know. So, if you don't know how to get tested today, go to GMHC's community information tables when you return from the walk. With your help, we're able to advocate for stronger public health policies, such as increasing AIDS funding and developing new prevention tools, especially for youth. Let me tell you about youth. The HIV epidemic among lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender youth is heartbreaking. Among gay and bisexual New Yorkers, youth ages 13 to 29 are the only group that experienced an increase in HIV infection over the past decade. We will not end this epidemic until we address the issues driving the new infections amongst our youth, particularly youth of color. And these drivers include poverty, homophobia, violence, homelessness, and lack of access to public health care, and we need to keep calling those issues out. We cannot stop talking about them. Much of what we're fighting for today started 32 years ago with the founding of Gay Men's Health Crisis. GMHC will never stop advocating for all people affected by HIV, people over 50, youth, women, men, and people of all colors. Our activism has been steadfast for going into our 4th decade, and it remains so. We will not stop advocating. We now have the tools to prevent HIV. Yes, we can prevent HIV. We can suppress HIV, and we can divert HIV. We can be so much more hopeful today than when we started if we continue to have your support and your commitment and the commitment of our government officials sitting here on this stage who are leaders. You can see their commitment. They're here before us. And I think this is the perfect time for me to stop where I'm doing because we have a very special guest here today, and I want to make sure that we bring up the new mayor of New York City.
Thank everyone who is here today. You are doing something powerful for this city. And I say thank you. I say I love you for what you're doing for this city. There's a lot of people to thank. I'll be very brief. I want to thank Janet Weinberg for her excellent leadership. The incoming CEO, Kelsey Louie. Craig Miller, one of the founders of this extraordinary walk. All of the community leaders and elected officials who are here standing by you, thank them for what they do. I think our HRA Commissioner Steve Banks is here, who's helping to lead the charge from the city side. This work is so important. This is one of those things a citizen can do that makes a huge difference. You're standing up, you're acting, because this fight continues. We're now in the 4th decade of the fight against HIV and AIDS. We're in the 4th decade, and sometimes when a struggle goes on so long, people lose their sense of urgency. Sometimes people drift away, but you haven't let that happen. You feel the passion to keep fighting, because we know so many people still need our help. And this administration knows, and we realize this crisis continues. This crisis continues, and we have more to do. And that's why this administration made sure that we had a 30% rent cap for those with HIV and AIDS, because they deserve our help. It took a long time, but people in the community stood up and demanded it rightfully, and we've now gotten it done. So folks who have HIV and AIDS do not have to also fight to pay the rent. We've got to give them a measure of justice. And so many city agencies are committed. HRA, our Health and Hospitals Corporation, that is always there for people with HIV and AIDS. And you know, wherever you turn, Department of Health is there helping on the preventative front. So all of these efforts will continue and deepen, and because of you, the resources will be there. Until we fight this to the point of winning, we will maintain that sense of urgency. And the City of New York will stand with you, and God bless you for what you're doing today.
Mayor de Blasio, we can't thank you enough for what you're doing and the work that you've done already in your 5 months since you've taken office. But as you can hear, we still have battles that we must win. There are about 132,000 new people in New York City living with HIV. Every year in this country, 50,000 new infections are still happening, and this is more than all of Europe combined right now. That's not acceptable. But that's why I'm so thankful to all of you for your heart, your generosity, and your support. Just as the epidemic is on the cusp of change, so too is GMHC. Our board of directors, our chairman, Mickey Rolfe, and all of the members of our board who are here today, please stand up so we can acknowledge you. This is a board that has worked very hard to guide GMHC and to select its leaders. Let's give them another well-deserved round of applause. Speaking of new and speaking of leaders, today I have the opportunity to present to you a new GMHC leader. A leader charged with assuring that GMHC continues its effective fight to end this epidemic and uplift the lives of all affected. Please allow me to introduce to you, with my honor, GMHC's next Chief Executive Officer, Kelsey Louie.
Thank you, Janet, and thank you for everything you've done for GMHC. Thank you all for joining me here today to be part of the 29th Annual AIDS Walk New York. My name is Kelsey Louie, and I am the new CEO of GMHC. I'm so happy to be joining GMHC in a historic moment in our fight against HIV and AIDS. Over the last 7 years at Harlem United, I've worked to improve, yes, Harlem United. I've worked to improve care and services for people living with HIV and AIDS in the low-income communities of color hardest hit by the epidemic today. These are the people who sometimes struggle to stay connected to care and treatment. What I learned in my time there was that targeted investments and smart interventions can make an incredible positive difference in the health and well-being of the people we serve. GMHC is already doing great, innovative work in this area, and I am so excited to help build on that and on the organization's incredible rich history on the front lines of the epidemic. As we walk this year, 2 game changers have radically shifted the ground in our fight against AIDS. The first was that the federal government has recommended broad adoption of the best kept secret in HIV prevention, PrEP. This daily medication is over 90% effective in preventing HIV infection. Can you imagine how quickly we would have embraced a pill for prevention that was over 90% effective in the 80s and even the 90s? Imagine how many lives we could have saved. That's why GMHC has consistently advocated for PrEP and we will continue to aggressively promote its use here in New York State. The second game changer is Mayor Bill de Blasio. We haven't had a mayor stand with us in over a decade, let alone one so deeply committed to our community's partner, to be our community's partner in City Hall. He's already made a difference working with Governor Cuomo to extend the 30% rent cap to people living with AIDS. With our city and state's top leaders behind us, there is a real path forward to end the epidemic in New York State by bringing new infections below 730 a year by 2020. So thank you all for walking with us today and for everything you're doing in the fight against AIDS. I look forward to working closely with this great family of GMHC supporters in the months and years ahead. We are going to make AIDS history in New York State together. Thank you so much. Our next speaker personifies the very reason we are all here today. Please welcome